Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I have a mysterious and emotional story for you. It's called The Last Train Never Arrived. This story is perfect for improving your English because it uses clear, everyday language, but it also carries deep meaning. As you listen, try to notice new vocabulary and expressions. Now, let's begin. In a small, quiet town called Millhaven, there was an old train station at the edge of the forest. The station had been there for more than 100 years. Its wooden benches were worn smooth by time, and the large clock on the wall ticked loudly in the silence. Every evening at exactly 9:45 p.m. the last train arrived. It came from the city and carried workers, students, and sometimes visitors. For many people, that train was more than transportation. It was hope. It was connection. It was a way home. One cold autumn evening, a woman named Clara stood alone on the platform. Clara was in her early 40s. She wore a long grey coat and held a small leather suitcase. Her hands trembled, not only from the cold, but from nervousness. She was waiting for her younger brother, Michael. They had not seen each other in almost 10 years. Years ago, after a painful argument about money and family responsibility, Michael had left Millhaven. He moved to the city, chasing success and independence. Clara stayed behind to care for their sick mother. After their mother passed away, the house felt empty. Too empty. 2 weeks ago, Clara received a letter. The envelope was simple. The handwriting was familiar. Dear Clara, it said. I'm sorry for everything. I'm coming home on the last train. 9:45 p.m. I hope you'll be there. She read the letter again and again. 1,000 emotions filled her heart: anger, sadness, love, fear. And now, she was standing on the platform. The clock showed 9:40. The wind moved through the trees, making a soft whispering sound. A few yellow leaves rolled across the ground. 9:43. Clara looked down the empty railway tracks. In the distance, she usually saw a small light when the train approached. But tonight, there was only darkness. 9:45, the clock ticked. No train. Clara frowned. Sometimes the train was late by a few minutes. She waited. 9:50, still nothing. The station master, an elderly man named Mr. Harris, stepped out of his small office. That's strange, he said quietly. The train is never this late. Clara forced a small smile. Maybe there's a delay. Mr. Harris nodded, but he looked worried. 10:05, no sound of wheels. No light in the distance. Clara's heart began to beat faster. She imagined accidents. Storms. Mechanical problems. 10:20, the station phone rang inside the office. The sound was sharp and sudden. Mr. Harris hurried inside to answer it. Clara stood frozen on the platform. After a few minutes, he returned. His face was pale. There's been a problem, he said slowly. The train left the city on time. But somewhere along the route, it disappeared from communication. Disappeared. Clara whispered. There's no signal. No contact. They're investigating. Clara felt as if the ground moved under her feet. How can a train just disappear? She asked. Mr. Harris had no answer. Hours passed. Midnight. The station lights flickered. The wind grew stronger. Finally, Mr. Harris gently said, You should go home. We'll have news by morning. But Clara couldn't move. She sat on the wooden bench, staring at the tracks. What if Michael had changed his mind? What if he never got on the train? What if this was another kind of goodbye? At 1:15 a.m. headlights appeared in the distance. Clara stood up quickly, her heart racing. But it was not a train. It was a maintenance vehicle moving slowly along the tracks. Two railway workers stepped out. They spoke quietly with Mr. Harris. Clara watched their faces. Serious. Confused. One of the workers approached her. "Miss," he said kindly, "there is no sign of damage on the tracks. No accident. It's as if the train simply vanished." Vanished. The word echoed in her mind. By 2 a.m., Clara finally walked home. The suitcase felt heavier now. Days passed. There was news on television. Investigations. Theories. But no answers. The passengers on the last train were never found. No wreckage. No message. Nothing. The world slowly moved on. Other trains continued to arrive. At 9:45 p.m. life in Millhaven returned to normal. But Clara came to the station every evening. She stood under the old clock and looked down the tracks. Not because she believed in ghosts. Not because she expected a miracle. But because hope is sometimes stronger than logic. Weeks turned into months. One winter evening, as snow gently covered the platform, Clara thought about her childhood. She remembered Michael as a little boy, afraid of the dark. She used to hold his hand when they crossed the street. She used to promise, "I'll always wait for you." Tears filled her eyes. Maybe the last train never arrived. Maybe it never would. But Clara realized something important. Forgiveness does not depend on arrival. Love does not disappear with distance. And sometimes, waiting is not about the other person. It is about keeping your heart open. The old clock continued to tick. 9:45 p.m. Another train arrived. Passengers stepped off, laughing, talking, living. Clara took a deep breath. For the first time, she did not feel only loss. She felt gratitude, for the letter, for the memories, for the chance to forgive. She turned away from the tracks and walked slowly toward the exit. The last train never arrived. But something else did. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to today's story. The last train never arrived. If this story helped you learn new vocabulary or expressions, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more English stories for adults. Keep listening. Keep learning. And remember, every story is a new step in your English journey. See you in the next story.